is tall Georgia pines, doing battle in the North Georgia mountains and the rolling hills of the Piedmont. It's the top 14 from the 5 biggest John boat clubs in Georgia. It's taken the anglers a year to earn the right to be here. It may not be the big 70-mile-per-hour bass boats the pros use, but it is highly modified fishing rigs set up to handle these electric-only lakes. The game is the same as the pros play, and you're going to have to be on top of your game come March 16th, 2019, if you want to earn the right to be the TEC champion. Proudly sponsored by G2 Gemini Jerseys, Rejuvenate, Power Pole, Nichols Lures, Dixie Athens Painting and Pressure Washing, Southern Draw Outdoors, East Penn, MyGeorgia811.com, Line Tanning Serum, The Dugout Bait and Tackle, Illusion Custom Crankbaits, TH Marine, Lanier Baits, Samkina Bait Company, Hammond's Fishing Center, Now let me introduce you to some of the qualifying anglers.
All right, so first, tell me y'all's names and who y'all fish with.
I'm Adam Higgins
Alex Williamson.
We fish with Electric Bass Opens as
And
well
Extreme.
as Extreme John boat anglers.
Double qualification. Congrats to both of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So tell me, how did y'all first get into bass fishing?
How did we get into bass fishing?
You probably got into it before me.
Yeah, I think we did. I know my boss saw me one day fishing at a pond on one of the farms we work at. He saw me floating on a styrofoam dock, and he a piece of styrofoam off of a dock, trying to get to a certain spot, and he felt bad for me. And I showed up to work the next day, and he had a 10-foot John boat sitting there waiting for me. So I quickly called Adam, and I told him that we got a boat, and we hit the water and didn't get off since.
Yeah, I fished my whole life, but not really bass fishing. You know, I'd go to a pond with a bobber and a worm, you know, and then I was actually rehearsing with a band that had a farm pond behind it, and sometimes we'd go down there and catch bass before rehearsal, and then that turned into me saying, hey, I want to go to the other side of the pond, so I got a kayak, and then I decided I didn't want to exercise, so we fished off his John boat, and then eventually got my own.
So tell me about y'all's tournament career as far as fishing these electric-only setups. How long y'all been fishing them?
We're starting year 3 this month, so our first one would have been 2 years ago, right here at Hickory Log. We saw that Extreme had their first stop on their schedule was here, so we figured we'd come out, and I think we caught 2 fish for 1 pound, 4 ounces, and we were hooked from there. We fell in love with it, and yeah, we've been hitting them as much as we can ever since.
So how many classics have y'all qualified for in those years?
3. 2 with Extreme and 1 with EBO last year.
Have y'all ever been a bass boat fisherman, big lake fisherman?
I just got my first bass boat in October, and it's not really going per se, but it's going to.
He has it.
And we have had it out, you know, going 50 miles per hour, so motor needs a little work, and it doesn't have electronics, so it's kind of sidelined right now, but we're getting there. We're
moving that direction.
Yeah.
I definitely have not every time. I've been on a real bass boat 3 times, and all of my gear just falls apart, and I need to stick to 3 miles an hour for right now. I look forward to getting Adam's boat going, but the timing of getting it fixed is going to be good.
So how did y'all get into John boat fishing?
It's all we could afford. He got that first boat, and we've been buddies for a long time, but we ended up being neighbors, and then we would usually come out here together and fish off that John boat, and then we just had a couple good days, and we started Googling, just looking for fishing tournaments. We're like, well, we might as well try it, you know.
Yeah, we tried it, and we were hooked.
Yeah.
So like I was been saying, y'all been fishing competitively in electric only setups for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
What would y'all say is the main difference in fishing electric only versus out of like a big bass boat as far as like strategies goes?
Definitely the amount of space you can cover. So patterning fish is, for me, seems to be a little different. You gotta really understand your batteries and how far you can go, and that has to play in with your fishing.
It makes the lake smaller too, because we'll fish tournaments on Allatoona and we know, we'll really zero in on that small amount of space, be like, this is all we got. And I also think the biggest thing for me is pressure, because you go on a big lake and you can get away from it. I mean, you can run up a river, you can run up a creek as far as you can go. And out here, you might really have to work on these fish a little more, because that's just what you got. You can't run.
Nowhere to run.
You can't run all the way over there. Well, we can't.
Yeah.
You might can.
No, I can't.
We don't have Elko yet, so
Yeah, so we can't, we even on a lake this size, sometimes we'll cut it in half before we even get there, and we'll say this is all we're doing, and and that way it increases our chances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with y'all double qualifying, what would y'all say in Electric Bass Opens was y'all's turning point in y'all's season 2018?
Our only win probably would have been.
yeah.
We won at Latham. Really wasn't a particularly special day. It was a 3-fish limit,
Yeah.
and I think we only had about 10-8, but he caught a five pounder that day. And we always had consistent finishes, but that was really the one where, everybody else kind of realized like, oh, okay, maybe they can actually compete. We had a lot of quiet finishes that were good.
Thirds and fourths.
Yeah, but we didn't have, and in this club with 20 boats, a fourth is still a really respectable finish, but I don't think until the win did we even see it as a possibility to qualify.
Yeah, we realized we could compete that day. We won. We can compete.
And that was, we weren't even in this boat then. That was
Yeah, that was out of the little boat, so that
was
made
out of the
everything
little 12-foot
that much
John boat,
nicer.
So that being y'all's turning point, you said that 5-8, y'all called it Latham.
Mm-hmm.
Was that probably y'all's memorable fish for the year? Or was there another one?
No, it is not my memorable fish for the year. My memorable fish for the year was during the EVO Classic. It was a tough day for us, and it was here at Hickory Log. And we'd been fishing all day and had 2 little fish. And me and Adam were just, mostly me. Adam keeps a great attitude the whole time. But I was fighting a bad attitude, and I was just like, you know what? Throwing a jerkbait, I was like, you know what? You never know what could happen throwing a jerkbait at Hickory Log. And on that cast, I caught one. And then we ended up catching 3 fish and rounded
out the limit in the last 30, 40 minutes, and still a terrible bass.
Yeah, it was
but
terrible.
We were just so happy to get the limit of fish.
I'll never forget that, saying, you never know what can happen. No sooner did I say that, did I set the hook on one on a jerkbait.
Yeah, it doesn't even seem like the big fish are really what's memorable. I mean, the one I remember the most was a coal, and it was just the one where we already had the big fish, but we needed that extra 2 pounds, and you get the 2-pound coal, and then you're screaming because you knew you won.
We went full on Ike and Ellie that
I did
day.
have an Ike moment at Brushy Branch.
That was a good time.
So we expect to hear some going Ike on hard labor with y'all?
Only if we're lucky. If y'all are lucky too.
Let's hope.
So if you need to put a fish in the boat, say you ain't got a limit and you need to put a fish in the boat, what is your go-to bait?
Wacky rig for me.
I would say probably a jig.
Yep.
A jig.
So in reverse that a little bit, say you've got a limit and they're squeakers and you need a kicker fish. What's your go-to bait for a kicker fish?
Wacky rig. I don't know why. I don't really. I don't feel like I ever target big fish. He's a little bit more adept to them, and my random ones just will come in there. But I don't know. Maybe cranking.
Cranking.
Better average size fish. But
Well, staying consistent too. Wacky rigs will stay.
yeah, I mean they'll catch them just about anywhere.
Yep. So have y'all checked out Hard Labor Creek Reservoir yet?
One time.
We've been over there. We really like the lake. It honestly, for me, it's intimidating. That's a big electric lake, and we don't know it yet. And it's a little bit out of the way, so it's not easy for us to pre-fish necessarily. But that lake seems like it's got some absolute giants in it, and I really look forward to fishing it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure y'all been keeping an eye on a lot through social media, Facebook, all the different clubs that's been fishing at the weights. What do y'all think as far as predictions for the winning weight of the Bass Tech this spring?
Over 20, I say.
Yeah, I'd say knowing all
Easy.
these guys, I don't see how there's any way. I think, there's some guys we don't know. I know the people over on this side of the state may not get to fish there quite as much, but some of those clubs that are hitting out there more regularly, there's
some great fishermen too in these leagues that are going to be fishing. So
yeah, and hopefully they'll be on bet and stuff, and people will go out there. And
it seems like they got the timing lined up right for it. Hopefully the stars will align like we're planning.
Yep, that's what I was hoping too. So, besides y'allselves and Electric Bass Opens, who else should we watch out for in the club?
Josh and Brandon.
Yeah,
for
Josh
sure.
and Brandon.
They just never really seem to struggle too bad. They always got 5 fish at least. And we had one tournament this year where we had a 5-fish limit of 11 pounds, and Josh still beat us with 2 fish at Rocky Mountain.
Yeah,
so,
that was great. He had a limit, and he beat us with 2.
If the big ones are biting, I think he'll be around them.
So tell me a little bit about your boat setup, motor size, batteries, modifications, things you'd like to do to improve it.
Well, this is the Sword in the Stone. This is the Excalibur. I don't know how many of these there are out there. Probably not many. It's 16.5 foot, and she's ugly as sin, but we're really glad to have her. This is the first boat we've had you could stand up in.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't hit Adam in the head with a jig or an Alabama rig yet. And we run the motor guides. I run the motor guides because they're cheap and they're gonna break, but you can return them at Walmart that morning. And I got enough broken motor guides that I could usually just replace parts and keep them going.
Yeah.
The one thing I would like to have different, without a doubt, is that new Elko motor. That's what I want for sure. I want a new Elko. That really,
and y'all can do it.
A big deal.
I know y'all can do it,
man.
I actually think this is a pretty ideal electric rig. I mean, it's small, it's compact. We got 2 live wells. Our live well system works great. We'll throw a big one up front. We'll cull out of the back one. All we need is a little more speed, and I think we got everything we need.
Yeah, it's a great rig. Needs some speed and definitely some paint.
So,
but other than that,
if there's like one thing, what's one thing you could do to your boat? What would you do?
EO.
Yeah.
Electric outboard for sure.
You do that, though everything else falls in line as far as your batteries and a lot of modifications.
Well, we haven't even thought about batteries.
We have more space in the back of that boat than you could put 10 batteries back there.
Unlimited amount of battery space in this boat. It's actually perfectly set up for electric fishing. The back of it sits up high, so it's like a platform.
If we fill it with batteries, maybe it'll sit right.
Yeah, maybe it'll tip the way it's supposed to.
If you could get one boat, what kind of boat would it be?
For this, I would think, a nice aluminum boat, like maybe an Express or.
I'll be honest, man. It's going to be hard for me to leave the bass boat shell. I like the bass boat shell, and only thing I would change would be a gambler body. I like a gambler.
Would you want longer length?
No, I would want to keep the same length. I don't want to go any longer. I just feel like right now, with where batteries and motors are able to push me, I'm going to be losing more by adding, more space that I really don't need it. We have enough here.
Yeah.
So
going from 10 foot to 12 foot, 15 feet feels great.
Big deal. Do cartwheels on it. It feels like
you can go Ike on it, can't you? Yeah, exactly.
Plenty of room to go Ike.
Yeah. Well, man, I appreciate y'all taking time to interview.
Absolutely, thank you.
Look forward to fishing with y'all.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Thank you.
Proudly sponsored by G2 Gemini Jerseys, Rejuvenate, Power Pole, Nichols Lures, Dixie Athens Painting and Pressure Washing, Southern Draw Outdoors, East Penn, MyGeorgia811.com, Line Tanning Serum, The Dugout Bait and Tackle, Illusion Custom Crankbaits, TH Marine, Lanier Baits, Samkina Bait Company, Hammond's Fishing Center,